Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We all know that our residents are frustrated. They are frustrated by this issue, they are frustrated by inaction, and they are frustrated by the fact that their legislature, their voice in this state, is up at 1:18 in the morning debating the biggest issue that this state has to deal with. They're frustrated that they are not paying attention because they don't know what this legislature is doing at 1:18 in the morning, how they're going to cut their care, not guarantee rates, and continue the giveaways to corporations that this chamber seems to love. I don't understand how people in this body can stand here and say that this process has been genuine, that the product that came out after 12 hours of conversation is somehow going to provide real rate relief for people in this state. This process from the beginning has been flawed. We talked about bipartisanship. We said we were willing to come together and roll up our sleeves and find a solution, but that is not what played out today in 12 hours. We have one bill from the other chamber that came through this week that looks very different than what the bill that we're debating today. And somehow, in a matter of 48 hours, we have this perfect solution that folks on the other side of the aisle have agreed and said, yes, this is going to provide all kinds of relief for folks in Michigan. Let's be real about what this does. This cuts care for everybody. There is no guarantee that we will see rate reduction because let's be real, folks who've been championing the free market are not automatically going to give a regulation to businesses, to some of the largest businesses in this state. There has to be a loophole, because there is. And let's also talk about the fact that we're not really addressing the factors in this bill that will reduce rates. Specifically, non-driving factors clearly spelled out, because we know that those are some of the highest reasons for why people pay the rates that they do. And I want to give you a very clear example of this. Personally, I recently went out and did some auto insurance shopping because I too am frustrated by my auto insurance rates. For the past year, I paid about $2,200 for a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This was, in my opinion, pretty high for the area that I live. And so I decided to go shop and find a different company. I did my research and I said, okay, what ways can I find rate reduction? I found a different company that saved me $500. Now, when I went back to my first company, I said, look, I got one rate that says I'm gonna save $500 today. Can you explain to me why you are charging me $500 more for a plan that does not change who I am, where I live, the type of vehicle that I own, or my driving record? The first company that I had no answer. No answer whatsoever, except for my credit score. Somehow, having a good credit score is not enough. That I needed an excellent credit score to save a few $100s, which is literally what my insurance agent told me, that I would save a few $100s if I had a better credit score. What does that have to do with my ability to drive? In my opinion, it doesn't matter. And this bill does not fix that. We deserve a bill that holds companies accountable with tangible rate relief, a strong department that can actually go after fraud and ensure consumer protections, and taking away those factors that have nothing to do with your driving. In my opinion, this is a promise that companies will maybe give us rate relief. We know what happens when companies are supposed to give us something, for example, a tax break. That does not trickle down to residents. This rate relief will not trickle down to residents either. Our residents want real reform. They do. We know that they do. So let's start over. Let's actually have a conversation with each other and figure out where do we agree, because I know there's a lot of things that we can't agree on in this bill. And what I want to leave you with is, as we talk about this bill that is not going to provide real rate relief, how are you going to feel going back to constituents who do demand relief, and then when no relief actually happens, how are they going to feel? That this chamber, again, did nothing when they said they were going to do something. I urge you to vote no, to start back at the drawing board. Let's have a real negotiation and make sure that this bill actually affects the issues that we need to address and can actually save consumers some money. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.